The most important aspect of your golf game and the most important statistic that a lot of the tour pros look at nowadays is the proximity to the hole. Those approach shots, they're the ones that are really important, that can really shave strokes off your score. If you have the ability to hit those greens from 100 meters, 120 meters, 150 meters or further, hitting those short mid irons onto the green, then that's really going to help you save some shots out in the golf course. So today is all about helping you to strike your irons better. We really want to flush those irons so that we can get much more control over the ball flight and then get that ball to dance on the greens. I'm Glenn Haynes, welcome to Aussie Golf Pros. It's really important to get crisp contact with your irons, and that's all about where you're striking the turf. That's what a lot of club golfers struggle with. They hit a lot of heavy shots and a lot of thin shots. And there are several reasons for that, and that's what we're going to go over today, to give you the best chance to strike your irons pure. So let's start with where we need to hit that grass. If we've got the ball there, we've really got to make sure that that club is coming down and it's hitting the golf ball first, and then it's taking that divot, or just even a brush of grass is enough, but it's really important to be brushing that grass just after the golf ball. You don't want to be hitting the grass before. Even a centimetre before can reduce your spin rate, reduce your control over the ball. And obviously the further back you go, the more you're going to lose performance and of course distance as well. So hitting the grass in the right spot is really key. There's a common preconception that we should have the golf ball in the middle with our irons. I see a lot of coaches tell kids that as well, but actually that's not your ideal position for hitting an iron, not for the cleanest strike. The problem with having the ball in the middle is if we're trying to transfer our weight forward through the shot, which is more dynamic and more powerful, then we're getting ahead of it too much. When we have that ball middle or back, then we tend to stay back behind it. So you don't see club golfers transferring their weight and turning through as aggressively and as positively as the tour pros. And tour pros don't have their irons in the middle, they have it slightly forward. And I like to say to people, have it opposite your heart. And I'm not going to change the ball position around too much from short iron to long iron, and neither should you. We want to get into a consistent setup and having that ball just opposite your heart there. If you're left-handed, obviously it's going to be the other side. So pretend your heart's on the right side. But if we can get that ball opposite your heart, that's a more dynamic position. You wouldn't try to hit a tennis ball in the middle. You're always going to hit a tennis ball just in front of you, baseball, hockey ball, you name it. All of these bat and ball, racket and ball sports, you're striking the ball just in front of you because that's a more powerful position, it's more dynamic, and it helps us to move towards the target, which helps us with that momentum. So middle of the stance, not quite good enough, and back of the stance, even worse. You don't want to be playing the ball back in stance unless you're in a divot or in the rough or something like that. We're talking about good lie on the fairway, we want crisp contact, you want that ball opposite your heart, just in front of center there, and that's really going to help you get dynamic through the shot and help you get crisp contact. More power through it as well. The other thing that's really key here is to get into consistent setup with alignment. So it's a good idea to use an alignment stick, a tour stick, to make sure that you're setting up consistently. And if you want to strike it better out in the golf course, then you need to do some work here on the range. You need to get comfortable with setting up the same way each time. I'm just aiming off to those yellow sticks there on the right hand side, and I really want to make sure that I'm parallel to the target every single time. If you prefer to be slightly open or slightly closed, that's fine. Just make sure it's consistent and use the tour sticks to help you to get into that consistent position when you're practicing, and it's going to be a lot easier to find that consistent place when you're out in the golf course as well. Okay, let's get into the backswing now. The big mistake that I see a lot of club golfers make, and it's causing them to miss-hit a lot of golf shots, is to sway. All right, they're either swaying with their hips or they're swaying with their head way back here, and that's really going to challenge your hand-eye coordination. It's going to be very difficult for you to strike the ball consistently if you've got big sways off of the golf ball or reversing this way. It's like trying to shoot from the top of a horse. Not that I've ever tried to shoot from the top of a horse, but I've heard it's really difficult. Back pocket here to go backwards. We're turning into a powerful position. We're still transferring our weight. We're not stacking here on the front foot, just by moving your arms into the backswing, that's shifting weight. Your arms have mass, so that's shifting weight into that trail foot, and by turning into the backswing, you are transferring your weight and you're coiling for power. You don't need to sway to transfer your weight. A little bit's fine, but we don't want excessive movement. Remember, your hand-eye coordination is really key. So nice and stable. Let's have a go with one. Just trying to get that trail pocket to go back and really turn into the shot. So of course, impact's really important as well. We want to get into a position that gives us the best chance of hitting the ball crisply, of really striking those irons pure. So what we want is some shifting of weight forward. We're turning through. We're getting that lead hip out of the way, and we want the shaft slightly ahead of the golf ball. Now, a lot of golfers make the mistake of trying to get the chest ahead and trying to hit the ball first in the ground that way. Bad move. The reason that's a bad move is as you move forward, you're going to cast it. And that's really going to affect your club head speed as well as your consistency. If you watch the top iron strikers of today, Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, you'll see that the shaft is forward, they're hitting the ball first, but the eyes, they're behind the golf ball still. Yes, they're shifting the weight forward, but they're still keeping their eyes just behind the golf ball. That's helping them to lag better and compress their irons the way we want them to. So you can see there that I hit the ball first and then the turf. The golf ball was just there and the divot is just after where the ball was, but I didn't slide forward to try to hit the ball first. I lagged. I got that transfer of weight and that rotation and got the shaft forward through impact, but I still kept my eyes just behind the golf ball. It's really key for delivering that power and compressing the ball effectively through better lag. Now here's a great drill for you if you really struggle with that. If you feel like you want to move the ball back or you feel like you want to slide forward, then try this drill. We're going to get a T-peg here, and we're going to put that T-peg way forward in your stance, so off your front foot, as if you were hitting a driver. I've got a 7-iron here, and I want you to see if you can hit that T-peg without trying to sway forward onto it. You're just going to whoosh nice and late through impact there. And you'll find that probably challenging to start with, but you'll very soon get the hang of it where you're getting into the habit of brushing the grass later, not by sliding ahead, but just by delaying that effort and that speed through impact. That's the key. We don't want to be trying too hard from the top of the backswing here and trying to generate all that power too early. This drill forces you to wait for it a little bit and be patient with that speed. And then I want you to do it with the golf ball. So you're going to have the ball way off your front foot. Remember, this is a drill, the ball's going to go higher and it's going to be more challenging for you to strike the golf ball because you're probably going to bottom out a little early and hit the grass first. But a great drill for getting used to lagging and compressing your irons. So start with the club way back here, ball way off your front foot. Remember, it's just a drill. And that's gone off to the left a little bit, understandable. Ball too far forward of my stance and the club face closed on it. So I pulled it off to the left-hand side for a right-hander. But this is a drill in helping you to get used to hitting the grass nice and late. And then when you get out on a golf course and have that ball slightly forward in your stance, it's going to be much easier for you to compress your shots. So one last thought here in the swing is the follow through, the finish position. We want it balanced. We want good extension after impact here. We don't want to be chicken wing in here and having the club very close to you. So just feel like the club is getting away from the body, just reaching out, and a nice balanced finish is really going to finish off that swing and help you with your consistency. So once again, ball first and then the ground, really getting crisp contact on your irons. Strike those irons pure and you're going to get much more control, much more spin over your shots, and your proximity to the hole is really going to improve. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, then please smash that like button and we'll be back next week. Are you the best golfer you can be?